Welcome into Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I'm Megan Payton. We are talking mailbag, rumors, news, a lot going on in Pittsburgh. But I have to open this video by asking you guys, are the Steelers going to make the playoffs? Last week's game, or technically Thursday's game, disappointing to say the least. So I'm asking you right now, what are your thoughts on Steelers playoff chances? Type Y for yes if they're making it in, or type N for no if you think it is over. So as always, if you guys are subscribed to Steelers Talk, you know what we do here. That's our mailbag show. This is every week we ask you guys, what do you want to talk about on our show? You use hashtag Steelers in the comments. We will answer your questions. You have to be subscribed in order to do so. So today is our week 14 mailbag. We're going to get right into it. First question is coming in from Patrick Starr. Hashtag Steelers. Rebuild everything during the offseason. All right. I think we kind of know that the Steelers are going to be rebuilding this year. It is a rebuild year. And by the way, when you think rebuild, you always think quarterback, you think maybe coaching changes, but the Steelers have a good amount of free agents or 2022 free agents that we don't know whether or not they're going to be signed back onto the team, including Juju Smith-Schuster. We've got Joe Hayden, Terrell Edmonds. These are guys whose contract ends after this season. I would love to see, especially Joe Hayden, Juju back on the Pittsburgh Steelers, but unfortunately that is not clear. Now, obviously, the big one that we are all going to be talking about is Big Ben Roethlisberger, his time being over in Pittsburgh and over really in the NFL. This was bound to happen. We kind of saw his struggles on Thursday with his arm strength. He hasn't had a terrible year, so I understand your guys' frustration at him, but it's not the worst thing ever. 2,758 yards in 2021 so far, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Now, not all of those were his fault, and a 64.8 completion percentage. So then we start to shift questions to, all right, if Big Ben's going to be leaving Pittsburgh, we need to start thinking about a new quarterback. Now, there's many options, obviously. You look ahead to the future with the draft. You look ahead to the future with maybe free agents whose contracts will be ending, including Aaron Rodgers, or you think trade. Maybe that's Russell Wilson. Maybe it's Deshaun Watson. A ton of different options. But Kenny Pickett is a guy that I'd say that most Steelers fans have been talking about as a realistic replacement. Now, Kenny Pickett, I like a lot. I think that he's shown that he is going to be a NFL quarterback. He's definitely the higher prospects in this year's class. He's had 4,066 yards in 2021, 40 touchdowns. Man, I love college football. Their stats are so much bigger. 7 interceptions and an 81.8 QBR. Now, the problem with Pickett that many have compared him kind of similar to Big Ben, where his arm strength may not be there. He does have composure. He does have the ability to, make smart decisions. But so did Big Ben. So did, this Ben Roethlisberger style of offense. I just get afraid of the Steelers creating the same problem, because the biggest problem for Pittsburgh, especially these last couple of years, has been Big Ben's arm strength, his ability to get the ball down the field. Kenny Pickett has shown some problems in that area. So if they are going to go with a guy like him, they're going to probably run into similar issues. Now, I'm not saying that's a reason to completely nix Pickett as an option, but it's something that the team has to consider if they want to see major change in 2022. Now, there are many options, and if you guys have missed, we did a Big Ben replacement video, and I'm sure we are going to be doing more of these as the season winds down, but we'll link that in the comments. It's a Big Ben replacement video. We talk trades, we talk drafts, but I am going to ask you guys, who do you guys want the Steelers 2022 quarterback to be? This is our pinned comment, so make sure if you get the ad break right here, go down, let me know. There's a lot of options, but who do you guys think is the best option in 2022? All right, next question coming in from Chris Johnston. What coaching changes need to happen? Hashtag Steelers. This has been a topic that I have seen many of you guys complain about, specifically with Mike Tomlin. Obviously, Matt Canada has been talked about as well. Now, I'm just going to be straight up and tell you guys, I just don't see Mike Tomlin getting fired. I know that you guys have had your complaints. I understand where you're coming from, but just think about it from the Steelers organization. They do not want to lose Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin has been a winning coach. He's been in the league for a long time. He's been with the Steelers organization for many, many years. And you look at his last 5 seasons, and I understand there's been a couple missed playoff years, but last year they went 12-4. That's a good record. They lost in the wild card round. Like I said, 2019 and 2018, they did miss the playoffs. Even in 2018, though, they did have a winning record. And then in 2017 and 2016, those were much better years for Pittsburgh. They lost in the divisional round in 2017. But in 2016, they made it to the AFC Championship. That's a pretty good situation for Pittsburgh. So I don't see Mike Tomlin going anywhere. But I do think that Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, his job might be in jeopardy. Now, Pittsburgh took a risk by, promoting him. He was the quarterback's coach last year. Then they decided to up him to offensive coordinator. It hasn't gone great. We've seen it. The offense isn't looking fantastic. Now, they do have some good units. They've got Najee Harris. Obviously, Juju being out doesn't help. And obviously, Big Ben being older and not throwing as great isn't a fantastic option either. So it's, when you think about coaching changes, you think about offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators for that matter, you start to think about, hey, what are they given and how much can they change with what they have? Now, I'm not saying that Matt Canada has called a perfect offensive game. He has not. There's been many problems, and that's why I'm telling you right now, I will be surprised if he is the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator next year. But I'm also going to give him some credit in his defense, knowing that their offensive line is struggling. They've got a lot of rookies out there. Big Ben struggling as well. Juju out. They've got Chase Claypool causing major issues for the Steelers offense. We are talking about that. That was one of your questions in this week's show. But I am going to say that Matt Canada still could have done a better job. There's a lot of iffy calls that have happened this year. So I will be surprised if his job remains in place. But I do think that when you think about coaches in general, you have to understand that there's a lot more that goes into, what their day-to-day job looks like. There's a lot of behind the scenes going on. And there's a lot of calls on Mike Tomlin that even though he's a defensive coach, he's still making the major calls and major changes. Now, one job that is not in stake is being a Steelers fan. And this is why I'm going to tell you guys about great Steelers gear that you guys can get for up to 50% off. There's a ton of options right now. You see this cool beanie, the Aaron Andrews line that I'm obsessed with. Guys, these are perfect Christmas gifts. These are perfect gifts for yourself if you feel like gifting yourself something fun. Stocking stuffers with these scarves, gloves. You've got the Darius Rucker vest. I really like this one. I think this is great. This can be, I think, guys or girls. It's great if it's a little chilly up in Pittsburgh. You've got some fluffy socks. Go to chatsports.com/Steelers sale. Like I said, up to 50% off on a ton of Steelers options, gears, clothes, stocking stuffers. Make sure you check this out before the holidays. All right, moving on to our next question coming in from Mental Ward. #Steelers. Chase Claypool is not good enough to ruin games for the team. Now, I understand the frustration coming from all Pittsburgh fans because I think that Chase Claypool needs to get it together. He needs to step up for this team. He has been a topic of conversation, not just this week, but many times throughout the season for his emotions getting the best of him. I mean, we were talking a week ago about how in a press conference, he's telling Mike Tomlin he needs to start playing music during practice. Now this happens. If you missed it, he's celebrating after a 9-yard reception with 28 seconds, I believe, left in the game. He's running off the time. He literally cost the Steelers, 5 to 10 seconds, give or take. Warren Sharp and many others have given their take on Chase Claypool's reaction and his emotions. He said Chase Claypool cost the Steelers at least 5 seconds, posing and pointing. That would have given the Steelers one more play, one more shot to tie it up. So dumb, so clueless that he is not the only angry guy out there. Ryan Clark, former Pittsburgh Steeler player, said Chase Claypool is as mentally and emotionally underdeveloped. He's physically and overdeveloped. And now he goes on and on to talk about just how he needs to step up. And I understand everyone's frustration with Claypool because he is very talented. I am not going to discredit him there, but that's not going to last if he's going to keep acting like a child. And that's what it is. I mean, we can sit here and defend it, but these things change not only games, they change the way that your locker room views you. I mean, and yes, he has been good, and he's had to take on a major role with Juju being out. 39 receptions this year, 660 yards, an average of 16.9, and 1 touchdown. I think he has the ability to be a great wide receiver in this league. He's very young still. He's only in his second year. There's a lot more we can see from Claypool, but he's got to get this fixed. So I'm asking you guys, what is your one-word reaction to Chase Claypool? I'm guessing it's somewhere along the lines of childish, immature, drama. I don't know. Let me know, guys, what you're thinking of Claypool. All right, next up, we've got Mikey Steelers. Minkah about to get fined, #Steelers. Now, Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to get fined. If you missed his tweet, he had a little bit to say about the referees in last week's game. He knows he's going to get fined. I understand it. He will, and he understands that when he made the tweet. So we'll bring up the tweet for you guys here in a sec. But he essentially told the referees that he thought it was a poorly officiated game. He said calls like this can change the outcomes of game. Football is a violent sport. People will get hit hard legally. Receivers running across the middle know what they signed up for. It's part of the game. Now, this has been a common theme this year, I'd say, all around the league. This is not isolating just the Steelers. All of these extra calls that probably aren't necessary. So I understand his frustration. He's upset because he got called on a penalty that wasn't a penalty. Now, again, I hate to make these videos all about the ref needs to change this has to fix. But in reality, I understand why he is frustrated. And if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm frustrated with this season because the playoffs are looking slimmer and slimmer as we are in week 14 right now. They are in the others list. If you can see PIT at the 6-6-1, they have got to compete right before the Sunday game. So if you guys are watching this later, I'm sure this is obviously going to change. But Indianapolis ahead of them right now. If the playoffs were today, the Bengals would be a wild card team, not the Steelers. You've got Chargers at the 5th seed, Bengals at 6th, and the Bills at 7th. So it seems as if the Steelers' hopes of winning the division, that may be lessening. But I do think that a wild card place is still available. They have to essentially win out, in my opinion, and they need some luck to happen as well. Now, of course, we are going to be keeping you guys updated on Steelers news, Steelers rumors. We're going to talk Big Ben. We're going to talk replacements. We're going to talk Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada. A ton of things going to be changing in Pittsburgh. So make sure you guys are subscribed to our channel. We're at 5,871 subscribers. My goal is to get to 6,000 by Christmas. So go click that big red button or go to youtube.com/SteelersTV.